One more thing. The Dallas Mavericks are not raising ticket prices next season for good reason. But some of their decisions that they may be making about the new arena are giving me some concern. Welcome, you're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla cakey flavor. Caffeinated kick, no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. It's one more thing. And today I want to talk about Rick Welts had an interview in the middle of the Mavericks game the other night where he talked about the Mavs tickets. He talked about how they're not raising the price of tickets. We'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about there's a focus group that there's just been some stuff floating around about, and I got some information about what was asked in the focus group about the new arena, about tickets, about all kinds of things. And I want to start here because Rick Welts in the middle of the Mavericks game was on the Mavs broadcast, and for a reason. They're putting out season ticket renewals next season. There's obvious the Mavs are obviously making a push for next season for people to get excited about next year and all that. And one of the things he was asked about, the price of tickets and about next season. And he said, Rick Welts said this: they had a meeting with everybody. Patrick Dumont, the Mavs owner, was in the meeting, and Patrick Dumont preempted the interview, with everybody by saying, we didn't deliver on the team that we expected this season. We're not going to raise one ticket price for next year. And Rick Welts said that's obviously a popular decision, but it's the right one as well. And yeah, it is. And I think that that's a great thing. It's a great thing the Mavericks are not going to raise ticket prices next season. It's great because he's right. It's great because the Mavs did not deliver on the team this season. The team has been very bad this season. I just watched them lose against the Sacramento Kings, and I was happy about that. And that should not be the way that the NBA season should end. I love when I can watch a Mavericks team that I know is competitive, and I want them to win games. This Mavericks team is the opposite of that. Now I'm rooting for losses, and so are you probably. The majority of you are rooting for losses because I've heard from most of you. And so the Mavs not raising ticket prices, I think it's a real positive thing. That's a great thing. Like Rick Welts said, it's a popular decision, but it's the right one. So that's great. First of all, give credit where credit is due. They could just look at next year and be like, well, like the Mavs Kings game the other night, there was not a lot to really root for. There's not a lot of players like really even playing. Cooper Flagg wasn't playing, and I think people knew Cooper Flagg wasn't playing in this game. And yet that arena was still very full. There's a lot of people there. There's big empty sections for sure, like little spots of seats, not entire sections, but the arena was pretty full. There's still a lot of people coming to Mavs games. Mavs Lakers in the middle of a snowstorm. This arena was a 90 to 95% full in the middle of a snowstorm. Yes, it was the Lakers and Luka's return and all that. That means a little bit more. But the fact that people showed up for a game like that means that there is still support for the Mavericks and for this team and all that. Despite everything they've gone through, despite everything with Nico Harrison, despite everything with the Luka trade, there is still a lot of support for the Dallas Mavericks. A lot of people love going to Mavs games. Even people that don't listen to this show, like that aren't diehard Mavs fans like you, or that are not even NBA fans or sports fans really in general, still like to come to Mavs games because it is a fun environment, because it is a fun thing to do. And so it's great that the Mavericks aren't raising ticket price next year because that was a big deal last year. Mavs lost in the play-in, had made the Luka trade, and then all of a sudden they're raising ticket prices across the board. I heard from so many of you talking about your season ticket prices being raised, individual tickets being raised. Everything across the board was raised. And for Patrick Dumont to come in and say, we're not raising one single ticket next year. Now, we got to hold them to it and see if they're actually going to do that. That's another thing. But for him to say that and for him to tell Rick Welts, the CEO of the Mavericks, to not raise tickets, that's awesome. That's great. And then the information from the focus group started to come out. There was a Reddit post recently on the Mavs Reddit that said, just left a focus group. It was so disheartening. Said some other stuff about individual things I'll talk about. Then he said, my group was insulted by everything. And pretty much everyone said they don't even want a new arena. Sad that that a week after Cuban talks about making the experience affordable for average fans and families, the Adelsons pull this. Another giant middle finger to this fan base. And so that's sort of that thing that caught my interest. And so I reached out and I said, all right, did anybody go to this? And I had a couple of people reach out that had gone to these focus groups. So I can confirm that that they happened because it's just a Reddit post. It could be anybody saying anything at any point. But now there are some people that have said that they've gone to this. So I know that these focus groups are true. And they said some of the things that they talked about in these focus groups. And so let's talk about some of these things because I think not raising ticket prices is a real positive. Everything else I heard in this is not super positive to me. One of the big things that came out about this is the price of individual tickets in the new arena. Now, Rick Welts talked about this new arena where they should have a location by July. They, hope their new arena is coming in 2031. And so this is a little ways off. This is 5 years from now. And so the world can be a lot different from then, right? Think about 5 years ago. We were in the middle of a pandemic, probably still, right? At 2021. Yeah, I guess they're still not playing basketball in front of fans at this point. But the Mavs in this focus group talked about individual tickets. And the one thing that somebody told me was that, you could not get out of the upper bowl for less than $200. Every lower bowl ticket is going to be at least $200. And again, this is somebody telling me secondhand information. So, and it's also a focus group too. This is just a suggested price. It doesn't mean this is absolutely what's going to happen. I want to be very clear on that and everything that I say in this. But $200 for a lower bowl ticket. One post said the cheapest upper level tickets were $95. Somebody else told me the cheapest were $75. And so there's a little disconnect on that. But still, $75 for the cheapest price in there, or $95 for the cheapest price at a game, is kind of wild. And I think the Mavericks are going to lose a big majority of their fan base over the course of time if they do this. And if they raise prices to that point, you're going to price out a lot of people. And you're going to price out the people that are your fans, that are the actual fans of the Mavericks, and not just fans of events, fans of the luxury of it, the fans of the flash of being there, the fans of the experience. And I think they're going to cater a lot to the experience. They're going to cater a lot to the luxury end of it and things like that. One of the things that somebody told me was, the parts you could definitely tell that they had made up their mind about in the focus group was how much more corporate lounge, high-end areas of the stadium that there are going to be compared to where they are now. And there are a bunch right now. There's already like the suite level, the Admiral level. There's already obviously courtside seats. There's multiple different, suites and lounges and different things like that across. They have, they have two different like clubs things in the, the bottom of the AAC right now. And then they made a new one a couple years ago that's out there in the hallway. There's just all kinds of different high-end luxury areas. And lots of businesses have decided we're going to cater to that end, to our high end, our big payers, the ones that are going to come in and pay, thousands of dollars to come to games, instead of the ones that are going to pay hundreds of dollars to go to games, or tens of dollars to go to games. And that seems like it's going to be even more ramped up in this new arena. And so coming up, there's one specific thing that I heard from this focus group that is concerning me more than anything. And so we'll talk about that and talk about what the Mavericks are still deciding in all this. We'll get into all that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by DoorDash. The season's heating up. DoorDash, there's a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through. Whether you're watching highlights, the tunnel fits, or your favorite player, DoorDash makes the season even more fun. If you're somebody that likes to just sit down, watch as many games as possible, maybe you're watching the playoffs, get DoorDash, because every player has their bag. With DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stocked, your gear fresh, and your watch party vibes absolutely on point. There are games when your team stresses you out. Maybe not so much with the Mavs anymore, but maybe in a way you didn't think anymore. Let DoorDash become your post-game therapy. Sometimes you just need a dessert or need something to get you through right now. From tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order on DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever gets you through the season. It's not just food. You can get everything delivered right to your door. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. If you're somebody like me and you just need a little kick, to get you through. I'm not a coffee guy at all. Never been. A 5 Hour Energy hits at a certain point. And you don't even need to drink the whole thing. Maybe you just need an hour. Maybe you just need 2.5 hours. Drink a half of one. There's so many different flavors, 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options, confetti craze, fruity rainbow, cotton candy, something for everyone. If I'm picking one right now, I picked a whole bunch of different ones. But today, what am I feeling? Strawberry watermelon, sweet, tart, candy-like flavor, the ultimate flavor duo. Some flavors were just made to go together. Strawberry and watermelon go together. That is a delicious pairing. You can also get watermelon by itself. For 5 Hour Energy. They have all kinds of different flavors. It's an energy shot that gives you a boost with 0 sugar. So you got to love that. People are like, I don't like sugary things. Well, there's no sugar in this. So you don't have to worry about that. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Also brought to you by Game Time. I'm talking about tickets. And so you may not want to buy tickets straight from the Mavericks, but you may want to buy tickets through Game Time, because there's nothing like being in an NBA arena, the crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that's the part that hasn't been so simple. That's why Game Time is the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. Puts the advantage back where it belongs, with you, the fans, which is where the Mavs should be putting it. pull up the Game Time app, pick an NBA game, and you can get tickets within minutes. You can see the all-in pricing up front, so you know exactly what you're going to pay. You can see the view from your seat, which is awesome. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use this code, Locked On, LOCKEDON, Locked On, to get $20 off your first purchase. The code is Locked On. Download the Game Time app today, and remember, it's GameTime.co, not GameTime.com, when you're finding tickets to NBA, concerts, all kinds of things with Game Time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
It's the one more thing. We're talking about the Mavs not raising ticket prices. Great. We're talking about Mavs ticket prices for the new arena. Not sounding so great, potentially. And then another thing I want to talk about is personal seat licenses. This is something that was mentioned multiple times when people reached out to me about the focus groups, about the new arena that the Mavs have been conducting. And this is in the Reddit post as well that's out there. It says, worst of all, they want to do 30-year PSLs to fund everything. Personal seat licenses. PSL. What is that? A PSL is basically you're claiming shotgun on a seat, but you got to pay to call shotgun on a seat. So a personal seat licenses for season tickets is basically it's the right to buy a season ticket for a specific seat in a stadium. You buy the season ticket separately. So if the price for a season ticket is $10,000 for the year and you got to pay $5,000 for the personal seat license, you pay $5,000 for the right to buy that seat. Why do teams do this? Why would anybody pay that? Well, if seats are super exclusive, arenas and teams only allow a certain amount of seats available for season ticket holders. Some of them have wait lists and things like that. Like I got waitlisted for Wing season tickets one year, and I was like, wait, hold on. When Paige Beckers got added, and I was like, hold on, wait, what is this? I thought you guys were trying to bring people in. It's like, yeah, we only allow a certain amount of season tickets. It's like, okay, great. Glad Paige Beckers is bringing all these people to the Wings. Shout out Paige. Teams use this to fund stadium construction to reduce upfront financing needs, lock in long-term fans, all that. PSLs can be sold, transferred between fans. So it's some people look at it as an investment. You're like, all right, well, I'm going to buy this personal seat license for $5,000. Then maybe by the time that the team is going to the NBA Finals again, when Cooper Flagg is raising, Western Conference championship banners, then I can sell that personal seat license to somebody and then make money off the personal seat license and all that. And like all of it, and that's an investment for somebody. And all this stuff and all this big money, this is wild to me. This completely misses the point, at least from the way I look at it. This misses the point of who your clientele is. Personal seat license to fund the arena. I thought Mark Cuban went and sold to the Adelsons and the Las Vegas Sands because they knew how to build, because they knew how to get things, because they were able to get things done, because Mark Cuban wasn't going to have the capital to get done a new arena and all that. Now they're turning back to the fans and the clientele and be like, hey, why don't you guys help us with the upfront cost for this? And you don't get paid back for a PSL. You don't get paid back in any way. You get your season, you get to buy your season ticket. What? And I don't think the Mavericks are a luxury brand like the Lakers or any of those teams like that. And I don't think that the interest is that big to the point where this is going to be successful. I could be wrong about this, but I just think a personal seat license, when talking about we're not going to raise the ticket prices, but guess what? In like 5 years, we're going to have you pay for the right to buy your season tickets. I'm wary about we're not raising ticket prices at all. Okay, good. That's great for next season. But in 5 years, it's gonna the price tag is gonna come, and it's gonna come with basically a personal seat license. Somebody told me that personal seat license for season tickets was for all tiers of tickets except for the 3 cheapest tiers of season tickets, and so you have to buy a personal seat license for basically all the the high end season tickets that you want to get. An upper personal seat license was going to be around $2,000 potentially. Lower was $5,000. So lower is like, I mean, if you're buying tickets down there, you might have that money already. And honestly, this whole thing, I'm not going to go into geopolitical. I'm not going to go into all this stuff, but this is just highlighting the gap between where the highest earners in our country are and the lowest earners in our country are. Because right now, everything's getting squeezed. You can either afford things or you really, really cannot. You can either afford like going to Disney right now. It is absolutely insane. Two people to go to, it's $400 to go to Disney for 2 people if you just want to go. It is absolutely, it's $200 a ticket, just a ticket Nothing else in there. And so if you can do those things, then you could do a lot of things. A lot of people making a lot of money in this country doing some crazy things. And then a lot of people not making enough money at all. And the Mavs are going to squeeze that part of the fan base out. And maybe they don't care about that anymore. But they are obviously looking towards luxury, high end, personal seat license, like trying to make it so that it's even more of a luxury, like a club basically. And I think they're going to price out their fans. A lot of them, like you listening, that are like, man, if it's $95 a ticket and I want to take a family of 4 to a Mavericks game, I'm probably going to 1 or 2 a year. Maybe not even that. Now, this is, again, 5 years from now. This is information from a focus group secondhand. And so all this can change. And maybe in 5 years from now, we're not even using American dollars. We're using bit currency, or we're using Trump currency by now. Who knows what could happen by then? We're using Elon coin to pay for things. Anything can happen in this time. But the stuff that I heard from the people in the focus group, they seemed frustrated. That Reddit post originally was about how frustrated they were hearing about everything that they're trying to do with this new arena, not making it affordable at all, not even really listening. One of the things somebody told me was they were so frustrated because it just seemed like they were so set on, well, the prices are set, everything's set. We just want to know what kinds of things you want around the building. What kinds of businesses do you want? Do you want room for food trucks, or would you rather have just like a set, sports bar type thing around? What businesses should we allow to come around this, around this new arena? It's like, okay. The Mavs, are they catering to fans, and are they going to price out their most loyal fans that have been out there, that have been coming to games? And I think that that's just going to keep happening. And the Mavs are going to fall down this route that a lot of them do. And somebody on our text line sent me, or I was on our Discord, sent me recently a thing where they were trying to sell their season tickets. And there's this big thing that popped up that was like, hey, we try to make sure that only MFFLs can buy these tickets. And so these are tracked and all this stuff. Yeah, you can't control that if the price of admission is so high that you're not going to be, MFFLs aren't going to be able to pay for it. There's only so many MFFLs that are making the amount of money that these guys are talking about with a personal seat license, plus a season ticket, plus it's just going to be going to these corporate entities to give season tickets to just anybody that takes them. And you're not going to get MFFLs in there. It's going to be a lot of visiting fans that are, I can only go to 1 or 2 games a year. Well, I'm going to go to the 2 Lakers games that there are this year. I just don't like the direction a lot of this stuff is going. And the last thing I'll say here is that Rick Welts was asked about, Mark Powell sat and asked him on the broadcast about the 2026-27 season. He's like, what can fans look forward to for next season? And Rick Welts says, the most important thing in our long-term future for us is landing a location for our new arena and entertainment district that will open in 2031. He's like, just bypass 2026-27 in general. Like, I'm not even looking toward that, which is his job to try and find this new arena. So I get that, but it was funny. He just didn't answer the question. There's not a real update yet. They were constantly in discussion. We want to reiterate. This was hilarious to me. We want to be the team with Dallas on the uniform who plays in Dallas. We're hoping by July to tell fans where the new arena will be. And one, being the team with Dallas on the chest and actually playing in Dallas. Aren't they the only ones? FC Dallas plays in Frisco. Obviously, the Cowboys play in Arlington. The Rangers, they say Texas. Dallas Wings play in Arlington still because they got screwed by the city, I think. What other teams are there? Dallas Renegades. There's Frisco Rough Riders. What other professional teams are there out there? I'm missing one. Somebody's yelling. Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars is the other one. They play in Dallas still, but they may be moving to Plano. Who knows with that one? In the focus group, somebody told me that they talked about location preference and asked people their opinion on the location preference of the new arena, and they gave them 3 options because we've heard of 2, right? We've heard of the old City Hall, current City Hall, but would be old City Hall, I guess, location downtown. And they talked about like a North Dallas, kind of like just south of Addison area. But then in the focus group, they asked them about a 3rd example. There was a regional thing. And the example was Irving, which is something that people have brought up from the very beginning, because I think Las Vegas Sands, like they have a property there, or there's something with Irving where Cowboy Stadium used to be. Something about Irving. And so that's an interesting one, because they wouldn't say Dallas on the address anymore. Lots of things to consider. Again, I want to reiterate again, this is all secondhand from a focus group, but if the Mavs are going in this direction, if they're going to the focus fully on luxury, high-end, personal seat licenses for season tickets, price out a lot of the fans that can't go to games, you're going to lose MFFLs. You're going to lose people that are diehards on this team. You're going to get a bunch of people that are just showing up to games because it's a fun thing to go to, or because their business that they work for gave them tickets because they have a package. And because they're the only ones that can afford it. And the more that you squeeze, the more you try and do that, you're going to lose your fans. And you've already lost a ton of them because of the trade and because of what was allowed to happen there. And so good on them for not raising tickets next year, but what's going to happen in 5 years? That's my question. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. We got all kinds of things coming up. We'll have a post game. Me and Slightly should be back from softball. He just bailed on me. Softball. Who plays softball? We'll have the post game show and all that. Subscribe. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.